have a lot of clients that send me Loom videos via email to show me issues with their automation setup or ask me to fix things or to communicate information and ideas to me. The problem is I spend a lot of time searching through my email looking for that Loom video from last week sometime that a client sent me that I need to work on their stuff. It's kind of a pain. And in the chaos of my email, it just adds more confusion and chaos when I'm trying to find a Loom video. So in this video, I'm going to show you a simple automation that I used that saves any Loom video that's emailed to me into a Google Sheet. I also save the email address of the person who sent it, and then I go get the title from Loom off of that video's page and save it to that sheet as well. The title is generally created by Loom's AI and describes what's happening in the video. To do this, I'm going to use make.com as our automation tool, and I'm going to connect Gmail to Google Sheets to save our Loom videos. You could also save this to Notion, Evernote, whatever place you'd like to save information. For this video, I'm going to save it to Google Sheets. All right, so let's jump over onto my computer and set up my Google Sheet. But before I do that, I want to tell you that my name is Andy O'Neill, and I help entrepreneurs like you add automation to their business and help tame their inbox as well. Okay, so we're over here in Google Sheets, and this is a pretty simple setup. I'm going to have a date, which is going to be the date of when the email was received, the actual email. We're going to do a from email. The reason I'm doing an email is I don't always get names that are sent through the emails, but I always get an email address of who it's from. So I can usually look at this email address and identify the client. We're going to go over to Loom. We're going to use Neutrino API to grab the name of the video from the Loom video page, and then we're going to save the Loom URL in this Google Sheet. All right, so I'm over here in Make, and I've created a new scenario. Let's name this scenario first. All right, we've given our scenario a good name. We're going to start with our trigger. We're going to click here and type Gmail. If you're using Microsoft Mail, the same principles would apply. You would just change the trigger here to a Microsoft Mail module that's watching email, and then the rest of this should be about the same. We're going to click Gmail and we're going to watch emails. All right, so I've selected my connection. If you haven't created a connection yet in Make, you're going to want to click the Add button. It's going to bring up an authentication screen that'll look familiar to you. It'll look like you're logging into your Gmail account. And once you log in, it'll authenticate your account with Make, and so they can talk to each other, and so this automation will work. I'm going to go down here to folder. I'm going to select all mail. And then I'm going to put a Gmail filter here. All Loom videos you share have this beginning to the link that you can go and watch the video. So that's going to be our search query. We only want to find videos where that text is contained in the email. We're going to leave this as no, and maximum number of results. You want to make sure you're putting enough here to check all of your email. 500 is way more than I would ever need, but I'm going to put 500 so I don't start missing any emails. And so it retrieves all of them, and they're all processed every time this runs. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to do emails after a specific time. So I want to run this and get some data. So let's go back to the beginning of January, and let's run that. All right, so we have some data here, and we can look at our text. I do a search. There's a Loom link right there in that text. So now what we have to do is we have to extract that out of that text. So we're going to go down here and we're going to do a match pattern advanced module. I'm going to connect that there. And global match, yes. If there's more than one Loom video in this email text, I want it to get all of them. So if you have global match no, it's going to get the first one and stop. So we wanted to check the entire text because sometimes I get more than one Loom video in an email. We're going to select multi-line yes, and we're going to leave the rest of these no. I've got my regular expression here, so I'm going to put this right here. And I will put this in the description as well, but you can paste this in. This is a regular expression or regex that's going to be looking for that pattern of the Loom video URLs. Next, our text, we're going to put in our text content, not the HTML, but the text content, and hit OK. Now, I want to go right here, and just to double check, I'm going to make sure, copy that, and I'm just going to make sure the text of our email contains the Loom link. Okay, so just making sure it's in there before we process anything. All right, so now what this is going to do, let's just run this and I'll show you where we're at. All right, so we're going to run this and just test that text parser. So you can see we have some results here of Loom videos that were found. So let's continue our scenario. And the first thing I want to do is I want to search to make sure this Loom video is not already on the sheet. So I'm going to search for Google Sheets. Search, we're going to search rows. All right, the sheet is called My Loom Videos. And what we're looking for, sheet name is sheet 1. What I want to do is I want to search this Loom URL to see if it already exists. Because if it's already there, I don't want to add it another time. So what we're going to do is we're going to say Loom URL equal to, and let's put our value right in there. Maximum number of rows, 1. We only need to return 1. All right, next we're going to set up the Neutrino API step. So we're going to add an HTTP module. We're going to add that. We're going to make a basic authorization request. Make requires a key here. I just have some blank keys where I created it and I just left it blank. And so I just put that in there. We go over here to the API docs. We go to browser bot. And here is the URL that we're going to want. All right, we're going to copy that. We go over here and we're going to paste. And we want this to be a post. And we have 2 headers and 2 query strings we're going to add here. So our headers are user ID and API key. All right, so we're going to click our login, and this is our API key. This is the root key, which has access to do everything. You can create another key for only browser bot, but I'm just going to use this. Our user ID is Find Looms. That's the user ID of your account. This is pretty straightforward. So my user ID is Find Looms, and here is my root key. So we're going to paste that in here for the API key. And then down here we have our URL and we have our selector. Okay. URL we're going to map from the text parser. Okay, so I'm going to right click on this and click inspect. And we're looking for the class. Now here's a div, and when I click into it, here's another div and here's one here. And this is where our value is. CSS work for login page for admin and the date. That's our title right here. So right here is the class CSS-17MEEAN, interestingly named class. So a class is going to go right here for our selector, and a class is a period. If it's an ID, you would do a hash or number sign. But a class is a period, and we're going to paste. That's the class we want from this page. And we're going to hit OK. So let's choose where to start. Let's run this again. Select the first email. This is going to be the first email that matches our search. OK, and we're going to hit run. It's just going to run just one email, but it is going to find 2 different links in that email. So we've searched our Google Sheet. The next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to add a filter. So when we find it, we don't want it to proceed. This one's actually already in my Google Sheet, so I haven't added that filter yet. All right, so here's one result back. Go down here. Now here's what Neutrino comes back with. And if we go down here to elements, so there's a collection of 1 here. So here's the HTML, here's the style data. This is the name of the video that we just retrieved. So it's called API Connections and Verifications. That's what's in the title that is given to it when the Loom is created. All right, so next we're going to add a Google Sheet. We want to add a row if it's not found in our Google Sheet. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to search for My Loom Videos received from emails. Our sheet name is sheet 1. All right, so our date is going to come. This is all going to come from our email, or some of this is going to come from our email. Here is our date. And I'm going to format that. So format date, month, day, year, HH:MM, and an A, capital A for AM, PM. And then the email, this is the email that it came from. So under sender, we're going to drag the email address here. The video name came from our Neutrino setup. So that's under elements. And there's the value right there. That's the name of the video. And then right here is going to be our video URL. So we're going to hit OK. We're going to save that. And I'm going to run this one more time. The other thing I want to do is I want to add error handler here in case I'm using the free Neutrino API. So if it tries to run it and I've hit a limit or something, I don't want it to stop processing. I just want it to ignore that. So we're just going to click resume and hit OK. So it's going to save it without the name in the Google Sheet. I would rather it be in the sheet without a name rather than not in the sheet at all. So that's why I'm doing that, just in case there's an error with Neutrino. All right, I'm going to right click here, say choose where to start, select the first email, and let's run that. All right, let's go back to our Google Sheet, and you can see it was added right here. So here is the date of that email. Here is the video name, and let's just go look at that video. It should be called API Connections and Verification. Sure enough, API Connections and Verification. So that is the title of that Loom video, and it has been added to our Google Sheet. And there's actually a second one there that's been added also from that email. So those are both unique emails. Let's go back to our scenario. And now we want to put our filter in that says if the Loom video URL exists, we want it to not exist. So this filter is going to keep it from creating a duplicate. So it's going to search for a video. We want that video to not exist. So we want it to search and not find one and then continue and add it to our Google Sheet. All right, so that is our scenario. It's looking in Gmail to find new Loom videos that were sent, and we're saving those into a Google Sheet. If you want to see how I use this Neutrino app to help post content to your LinkedIn profile, to automate content to your LinkedIn profile, check out this video and you'll see how I use Neutrino API in another Make scenario. If I can help you build your scenarios, I'd love to do a co-build call with you. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.